So we're here in the bird room. You can hear the birdies singing. And this is what I do in the morning and how I keep records of my birds. So every morning I come in here and the first thing I do is just look at my birds. I want to know, do they look okay? Do they look healthy? I had one boy down in my bottom cage that kind of looked a little fluffed out the other day and didn't look the greatest, so I've kind of been watching him, but he looks fine today. He's an older male, and sometimes as they get older, they just, like people, have times where they just don't feel as good as they otherwise would. So he looks fine to me today, and I just kind of make an assessment of all of the birds. I look around at every cage that I have, and you're looking for anybody that's sitting on the bottom of the cage fluffed up. That is especially important at this time when my hens are laying, because I want to make sure that none of my hens are egg bound. And that's one sign. They'll sit at the bottom of the cage or maybe in their nest and they're just fluffed up. They look sick and they just look like they don't feel well. You know, their eyes might be half closed. So when I have looked at everybody and everybody looks good today, I have never had an egg bound hen, thank goodness. And I always make sure that they get extra calcium, which is important. And I'll show you what I do is, in every cage right now, the birds are eating off little plates. And what are on those plates today are bananas, celery, wheat germ, and oats. And I feed them all kinds of different things. That's not what they get every day. Usually right when they're laying, I feed a lot of broccoli because that's high in calcium. So right now, I just give a plate of something every day. And I do that. The birds like it, for one. They're foragers, and it gives them something to do all day, to forage stuff. What I try to put on the plates are things that won't go bad really fast. Usually I don't do banana just because that starts to turn kind of quick. But apples are really good, carrots are really good. Like I said, broccoli. Your birds will love all kinds of things, so the more you give them, the more they'll appreciate you. And it keeps them busy. I think, you know, if we're going to keep them locked up in little cages all day. Usually my birds free fly. This whole thing that I'm in right now is their flight cage. And so usually they have all this big area to fly around in. So when I put them in these cages, I guess I feel a little bad. I like for them to be birds and be able to fly and be, I think that keeps them healthier too and just happier. So this gives them something to do all day while they're in cages. Of course, when they're feeding babies, they're busy with that. But I do like to give them some little extras. And I do it for another reason too. It's because then I can take this cuttlebone and I just shred it on a cheese grater like this, and I get the little bit of cuttlebone extra calcium over the food that's on the plate. So I do that with each and every plate. I also sprinkle a little bit of prime on it, and I guess any kind of bird vitamin will work as long as it's got vitamins in it. I don't do the vitamins every day. I think, you know, you can go on vitamin overkill. So my birds seem to be really healthy. They get a lot of vitamins from just the natural foods that I feed them. In the summertime, I make a garden for them, and I grow all kinds of, you know, collard greens and broccoli and all kinds of herbs too, because I believe in prevention, and a lot of the herbs can prevent certain conditions in them. So, and that's all organic stuff, so they eat really good. I really don't think my birds have any vitamin deficiencies that I have to make up for with the prime. But what I do like to do right now, especially while my hens are laying eggs, is to make sure that everybody's getting enough vitamins. You know, this is a real important time because those eggs are going to be their babies, and those are going to be my next generation breeders. So I want to make sure that those eggs have the best chance of survival and to be healthy. So then after I have fed everybody, and I do this on purpose, I feed everybody first, and I look around and I make sure they're okay and that everybody looks good, because a lot of the time when I put those plates of food in, that's when my hens come out of their nests. And that's another goal for me first thing in the morning, is to get my hens out of their nest. I want to see how those eggs are doing, and usually when the hens see all that nummy food I've just put in there, they want to get down there and have some bites. So now I just walk around, and you're always going to have some hens that just don't come out of their nest, and leave them alone. I mean, when I first started breeding canaries, I would kind of scoop the hen out of the nest, and that's really not a good idea. You want her to feel safe and secure in her nest, and that's her private area. So that's what I do for them now. I let them feel secure. And I just walk around and check each and every nest. And the ones like this little hen, she was just turning her eggs, and I was trying to get a picture of it for everybody, but unfortunately she's seen me and stopped. So she's not coming out of her nest, so I really don't know how many eggs she has today or if she's laid more. I think if I remember right, she had laid 3, and the last egg was dark blue or more blue than the others, and that is the sign that that's going to be your last egg. So I think that's my little Galina girl up there is her name. I try to give them all Russian names since they're Russian singers. She, I think, has already laid her 3 eggs, and that's that. So this hen here, she's got 3 eggs, and I think that's what she had yesterday too. I do keep a card on everybody's cage so that I can see when I put their names and the hatch or the lay dates on there, each date that they've laid an egg, and that way I can predict the hatch date. Now the hatch date, see this little hen is still on her nest, and that's fine, we're going to leave her alone. The hatch date is usually 13 days after the hen starts setting, so not after she's laid her first egg. It looks like the boy was up there going to feed that hen in the nest, and that's really nice. That's what the good boys do. Those are the boys that I keep. The boys that don't feed the hens and are kind of just dud dads, usually I sell them because I want to perpetuate good breeding genes and good feeding genes. Again, I have another hen that's just laying on her little nest. Doesn't she look cute? Look at how huge her nest is. And if that's not a big, big nest, I don't know what is. She really built it up there, and that's the boy, and he's down there getting all kinds of yummy food for her, and hopefully he'll go up and feed her in a few seconds. Up here at the top, looks like this hen now has 4 eggs. She only had 3 yesterday, and I think that last egg up here towards the top, right here, is bluer than the other ones, if you can see. I don't know if you'll be able to see well on the video camera, but I do believe it is a little bit more blue than the other ones, and therefore that might be her last one. Looks like in this cage I've got 2 eggs. I don't know if the video camera picks that up really well, but it looks like 2 in there. And then in this cage it looks like maybe 1 egg down there, maybe 2. I'll have to put my fingers in there and maybe feel. And then the bottom nest, nothing yet. Up here I have another hen who is not getting off her nest, and that's fine, we'll leave her alone. This nest is always a little hard to see, but I don't see any eggs in it yet. And then this mom is laying on her nest and saying, "Leave me alone." So it looks like most of my hens are laying, and that's really good. That's what I want. Looks like everybody's healthy today and everybody's doing well. So that's what I do. I will go around now and write on my little sheets and see if everybody, see how many eggs they have, and add today's lays onto the sheet. And then 13 days, like I said, from the day they set on the eggs, that they sit in the nest and they get really down in there, and they're going to stay on that nest and they're not getting up a lot. 13 days after that, which is usually the second or third egg laid, that's when they set. Usually after that, 13 days after that is when the eggs will start hatching. So now I know, by writing this down, when to expect that everybody is going to start hatching their eggs. And I like to breed them all. As you can see, they're all kind of at the same stage in breeding right now. To me, that's really important. One, because I don't like to breed birds all year round. I want to get my birds breeding and get them done breeding. So it's really nice when you can do that. But another thing is, you know, if I have a mom that doesn't take care of her eggs or dies, I mean, that could happen too. If she doesn't sit on her eggs, if she abandons her babies when they're little, if the mom dies, you know, there's all kinds of things that could happen. Now I have all these other moms that can take care of babies, so I can just foster them out, you know, so that's really nice when you have that opportunity. And Oh, every time I go to catch that mom turning her eggs, she runs on me. But she was just turning her eggs again. So it looks like everybody's doing their birdie stuff. Nobody's fighting or anything like that. So that's good. I've paired up good this year, and they seem to like each other. So it looks like pretty soon I will start having babies, and I will make another movie then and show you my babies.